Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to day 8 of the 12 Cast Ons of Christmas. My name is Kirsty, and the 12 Cast Ons, if you haven't heard yet, is a make-along hosted by Ange of Yarn and Yarns, where you cast on up to 12 new things between the 24th of December and the 31st of January the following year, and then you work on it throughout the year. This is my 8th day of casting on. I'm a little bit sad that there's only 5 more cast ons to go, but also I am excited to get back and work on some of the ones I've already started. So day 8, I've been doing it every day, and I am ready to find out what my next project is. Now, already I was thinking about it. I've done 2 sweaters, I've done an Advent project, I've done 2 shawls, and I'm forgetting what the last one is, but I realized I haven't done any socks, and I know there are a couple of sock ones in here. And so I'm thinking today it would be nice if I either got socks or if I got a colour fun play project. I'm not against having another shawl, but I want, colour. But I have no control over that because I'm not choosing them. I mean, I kind of am, but I'm not. The way that I do it is in this bowl, I put 24 projects in at the beginning. I've already done 7. So what's that mean? I've got 17 left. And I just pick one randomly out, and whatever I pick out is what I'm going to start today. So shall we pick out and see what I'm going to start today? Nope, I just got 2. Put one back. All right, I have no idea what is on this little piece of paper, so let's find out together. Into the Wild sweater. All right, so this one, I was trying to figure out how I would do it, and then I realized I'm just going to follow Ange's example. Last year, she started, I think, 9 socks as one cast on, and she did them 3 at a time. Then this year, she started 12 socks as one cast on and started, I think, 4 on the first day, 6. It was a lot on the first day. I want to say maybe 4. I have 3 Into the Wild sweaters waiting to be made. My plan was a couple of years ago to make, and I'll put a photo up here, to make 4 of these matching for my family. And I started with my own and then realized that I was using DK weight rather than worsted weight yarn, and so the gauge was too small. So I just pivoted and turned that into one for my son, went back and bought more yarn to make one in my size as well. And then I also did it I bought yarn for my daughter, and my husband said he didn't want one. But I never made any of the others. And then when he found out that I was still going to make matching ones for me and my 2 kids, he was like, okay, you can make one for me too. I was like, great, can do. And I don't think I bought the same yarn for him, but I have other yarn that I could use for his one. So I have 3 of these sweaters to make. And it may turn into 4 depending on how quickly my son grows. I may just be able to take the bottom off his and extend it, or I may have to knit him a new one. We'll see. So that is at least 3 sweaters as one cast on. But the exciting news is it's also colour work. It's a colour work yoke and then plain knitting for the rest. So what I will do is I've got the yarn in a few different places because it's quite a lot of yarn. But I will go grab the yarn, I will find the pattern, and I will have a look at the needle size. The collar, it's top down. The collar is pretty easy. It's just a ribbed collar. And then you jump into the colour work pretty quickly. For my son's one, I did it quite quickly. I just worked through it because I was so excited to do it. Like in a week, I think I had his collar done and was well onto the body. Not expecting to obviously get a whole collar done today, but my question is, what size do I start with? Because I want us all to be able to wear them at the same time, I'm tempted to not start with my daughter because she's growing quite quickly. So if I start with mine or my husband's and then get the other one of them out, and then I can match hers to match, and then we should all have a period of being able to wear them at the same time. However, I can also kind of estimate, because it's winter now, I'm not going to get 3 jumpers done before the end of winter. So if I try and have them all ready by, say, November or October even, and then we can all have matching sweaters for autumn and winter next year, then I think that's a pretty good aim. So I could start with hers and just kind of estimate what size she'd be next year. And that does sound fun because it's pink and I love using pink yarn. I don't wear it as much, but I love using it. But what I'll probably do is I'll probably start with mine, because I remember I had to do some playing with the gauge. I think I've already done the math for that, because when I did my son's one, I made notes on what I should have to do to get my one to fit me. But I'm going to go find the pattern and see. Oh, okay. I'm excited. I'll be back in a minute. All right. So I have some information. I cannot find my printed pattern. I'm not sure quite what's happened. One possibility is because I knit it while I was in Australia, I didn't bring the pattern home with me. That's entirely possible because, extra weight, things like that. And I did finish this one when I was in Australia. The other possibility is I brought it back, but I brought it back in one of my not normal spots and it never made its way to my pattern book. Whatever it is, it's not there, is it? No. Whatever it is, I cannot find the printed pattern. And because I've done things with gauge, that could be a bit of an issue. However, yay to past me, because I have made some notes. Not only on the Ravelry project page did I take notes of what changes I did, but I also, on here, and a little bit of crinkling here, on the yarn bags, I've put what size I'm planning to make. Phew. I do remember going over and getting more yardage and all those things to try and make sure that I had what I needed for what I was making. So very, very happy that I put notes about size. Now, this is the yarn for my daughter's one. You can see there's pink. I was going to do the fox in this mustard colour for hers. For me, I have this bag of green. I'm not going to get it all out of the bag because it is a lot. And then in my second bag, I have my other things I need. But I wasn't sure if I wanted red foxes for me or orange foxes. Both of these are different to what I did for my son. He's had quite a bright orange fox, so this is a more muted orange or rusty orange, or I could go for the red. I think I started the red for his actually, and I thought it just looked a little bit plain or boring. But for me, for a 37-year-old, however old I am now, is very different from a 4-year-old wearing it. So I think it would be okay for me. It would give quite a Christmassy look. And that is the colour I originally saw in the shop that went, I want this one. Or I could stick with the tweed and do the orange, which would give it a little bit of a brighter pop. So that's the question I have for me. And whatever I don't do for me, I will probably do for my husband, which means maybe I'll do the orange for me and the red for my husband. We'll see. I don't have the yarn for him kept out. I have two options. They're both Montana yarn from Spotlight, and I'm knitting out of the blue tweed. I'm already knitting him a jumper, and then I also have a brown tweed in the same yarn line. And so I'm thinking I'll hold off on his because I want to see how the kookaburra blocks so that I have an idea of what the yarn will do afterwards, because I think it's going to be a much, may even be a superwash. Are these superwash? Hang on, I'm going to get a ball out. This is pure wool. It doesn't say superwash. Warm, gentle machine, short cycle, hand wash, do not tumble dry. Okay, I'm going to say it's superwash because it says normal spin dry. Do not tumble dry. Dry, flat and shade. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to say superwash. What I'm using is Heirloom Merino Magic in 8-ply. And then for the other colours, I have Heirloom Merino Fleck in 8-ply. I did consider doing 10-ply, but they didn't have the colours I wanted in the 10-ply. Thus, I went for 8-ply across the board, and I'm adjusting the pattern. So when I started my son's one, I started size 4, and that was for me. That's what the pattern should have been for my size. And And when I realized how small it was, I changed that to his, and I put notes saying I need to do mine in size 7. Now, there's been some changes in my weight and my body over the past 2 years, so I could go back and check that, but I'm probably not going to. I'll just start size 7 and we'll end up with what we end up with. I also made a note here saying my daughter needs size 1. Now, my daughter has grown in the past 2 years, but I remember when I put size 1, I put that thinking this is still going to be way too big for her. And she's probably a similar size to what my son was when I made him the other one. But it's still too big for him. Like, it's got so much positive ease, but it is getting a little bit short. So what I might do is I might grab his jumper, try it on her, see how it fits, and then decide whether I go to size 1 or I change. The benefit of this is I have his jumper and I can check the gauge on his jumper to make adjustments for everything else. So I'm going to do that and figure it out. But I think what I will do is I will start with my one today, get one of the bigger ones out of the way, and then see if I can come back and I'll probably do my daughter's next, if I'm honest, and then come back and do my husband's one once I know how that yarn will knit up. If I'd known, then I would have absolutely have bought him some of this to do his. But I think either way, it's going to be fine. And I should hopefully, because I've bought what is recommended for each jumper, I'm hoping that I will have enough of this left over, like of the white, the black, like the white, the charcoal. And I definitely will have enough for the extra foxes because I bought extra because I wasn't sure which color I wanted. But I should have enough of these to then make up a third yoke for my husband's sweater. This is the plan. If you want to know colors, I will put everything on Ravelry. This is 6204. This one is 6579 for the green tweed. And the white is 6510. It's an off-white. It's not a bleached white. It's a cream. And then I don't know what orange I'm using yet. So I will... I genuinely, I don't know which one I'm going to do. Because when I started it, okay, I'm going to pull this out. I saw this jumper. I wanted to knit this jumper. I knew I wanted it in a tweed yarn. And when I saw this green, I thought that is exactly what I want. And so I had a look and I held these up together and I went, what a beautiful Christmassy sweater. When I started knitting with that colour for my son's one, I went, it's just a little bland. Now, is that bland? No. But it looked bland when I was doing a small sweater for my son. Putting in the bright orange made a big difference. So my question is, do I do the bright orange and make mine more similar to my son's and save this for my husband's? Or do I do my original colour palette that I had planned, that I had planned for me, and use the orange for my husband's one? My husband likes reds, which is why I'm more tempted to do this for his one. But it could go either way. Just not sure. Anyway, so they're my thoughts. The red one is colour 273, and that's in the Heirloom Merino Magic. And then the orange is 6591, and that's the Merino Fleck, because that's the tweed. These are all 100% pure wool, made in Australia, 50 grams, 105 metres. Yeah, it doesn't say superwash anywhere on there, but it feels like it probably is, like it's not overly toothy. So, and the fact that it has gentle machine cycle tells me it probably is. All right, I need to now go print out this pattern again. I'm very grateful for the notes I took. Like I think for my son's one, I did decreases in the sleeves more regularly than the pattern, because my row gauge was similar to the pattern, but I wanted his sleeve shorter so it would fit him. Because, yeah, obviously I was making it for a 4-year-old, not an adult, and so the sleeve length had to be adjusted. So, yeah, I'm going to what am I going to do? I have a project bag here, so I'm going to put the yarn in the project bag. This is actually, oh, sorry if that made a noise. This is the project bag that I've been keeping the yarn in. I don't know why I've been keeping the yarn in the project bag, except that apparently I expected to be making it, which means I haven't used this project bag for over a year. So I'm very excited that I have this bag back. This is one that I made. I have a tutorial linked below if you want to learn how to make project bags. The project bag in the tutorial is smaller than this one, but I do go in the tutorial talk about how to adjust size, and it's really, really easy to adjust size. But this fabric, I think, is from Akufakten, which is a German fabric. Well, I think it's a German company that sells fabric as well as other things, and these mice are just so cute. So I bought a lot of fabric, or some fabric from there, in order to make bags and things. So yeah, very excited to get my autumn blueberry blackberry bag out again to make these jumpers. I also have my day 8 stitch marker here, so that's good. And I am going to check. I assume I did the needle that says in the pattern, but I'm going to check my other project page to see that that is actually the case. Because if I went down, use DK instead of worsted, it's a chance I went down a needle size. I don't think I did, but I'm going to double check that as well. And then, yes, I will start with my one. I will do another green one before I move into a different colour. I am excited. The real question is, once I finish my one, am I going to put it aside until everyone else's is finished, or will I start wearing it straight away? That's a real question. My son's been wearing his for 2 years. Needs a shave, but he's been wearing it for 2 years, so we'll see. Oh, there is other. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's fine. I am going to go check what needles I need, see if I can scrounge them up. I have 4.5mm ones, and I only have 3.25mm, and everything in between that is gone. So I'm going to see what I can find, see what I need, and I will check back in with you soon. Bye. All right, I haven't cast on yet, but I did go and grab the sweater that I finished. So I thought I would show you this, and I also thought I would check gauge before I do anything else to double check. So this is the sweater. You can see it has been well worn. You know, my son snagged it on something. It definitely has peeled. It needs a good shave, like I said. This is, I mean, that sleeve is pretty ratty looking. I need to shave it so that he can wear it as a nice sweater again. But all that to say, this yarn is not the most, what's the word? It's not yarn that holds up super duper well. It did look pretty ratty reasonably quick, but I don't really mind, and I'm still going to make more with it because I did buy it all. And I will shave it and it'll be fine. So the gauge that I'm getting is about 20, maybe 21 stitches per inch. The gauge in the pattern is 17 stitches per inch. Now, I realized when I went back to the pattern why I got confused about which yarn to buy for this one. In the pattern, it says DK weight. On Ravelry, it says, I think it says worsted, although I didn't double check Ravelry. However, the yarn that is recommended is Plot Lupe or something, and that is sold as a worsted weight yarn. And so even though the pattern itself says DK, it's unlikely you'll find a DK yarn that will get that gauge. Plot Lupe is an unspun yarn and has quite a bit of bounce, maybe, I don't know, like it's quite a larger yarn, and so that's why in my mind I thought DK. I found DK, I fell in love with it, realized it was the wrong thing, and was like, I'm still going to use it because I've fallen in love with it. So this is the one that I made. I didn't make any adjustments to the yoke aside from I did the short rows according to size 2 instead of according to size 4 because I wanted the yoke to not be too big. And I adjusted the sleeves, I think, to make them shorter but still get the decreases. When he first put it on, it was quite oversized. It is less oversized, like I said. It probably just needs some extra length in the body. So whether I cut that out and reknit it, or whether I frog back and reknit that section, or whether I cut through, add a few inches, and then kitchen the whole thing. That sounds tedious. I'll have a think when the rest of ours are done to see how I can make this fit him well for next year. Maybe I'll just add a bit of length to the sleeves and to the body, and it will fit him for quite a while because it is still quite a large circumference. Funny story, I did actually try this on once it had finished, and it was quite a very tight-fitting, form-fitting, but quite a cute cropped sweater, just the sleeves are a bit short. So, but I'd already given it to my son, so that's fine. I did check gauge, and I checked for me and my daughter, and yes, size 7 will work for me, and size 1 will still work for her. It won't need as much adjustments in terms of length as it would have a couple of years ago, but that will still work for her as a sweater. And then I'll figure out what size to do for my husband when I get there. So this is what I'm making today, but sizing it up. And you can see those orange boxes are so cute. And it just suits my son so well because he has red hair as well. But you can see like there is a colour difference between the orange for me and the orange for him. Mine's a bit more yellowy. Come back. And that would be quite a different look altogether to have red instead of orange. So I'm not sure. I'm still tossing up between these two. All right. I also found needles, which I've put somewhere. I've put them down. Now I've lost them. Anyway, I did find size 3mm needles, which is what I need to start the collar. And then 4mm is what I need for the body, which I don't have at the moment. I keep stealing 4mm needles and then needing more. So I will start the collar, see if I can get through the collar today. And if I do, I may just steal some of those needles. But I'm also at the point where I may just put in an order and get a couple more 4mm pairs. I wish I knew what I needed for the rest of 12 cast-ons, because if I'm going to need more again, it would be nice to have them and not have to do a second, a third, or fourth order. But they're not going to come straight away. So I will have a think about that. I don't want to buy lots of needles, but I have come up across it quite a few times where I'm just missing 4mm and need more 4mm. So I may just bite the bullet and do that. All right, so that is where I'm up to. I'm going to put this yarn in a project bag, take it downstairs and cast on a collar for size 7, which is significantly more stitches than if I was using worsted weight yarn. I think that's part of it, is if I'm using bigger yarn, then it's also less stitches and less work. So I made more work for myself. All right. Oh, I haven't found the pattern, like I said, but I do remember for my daughter, this yoke was going to be way too deep for her. And so my plan 2 years ago was to adjust the colour work, maybe these trees down here, to do something to decrease the depth of the colour work. May have been to like omit the top row of these deep ones and just do a small one. It was something. Or maybe make these trees shorter. I don't exactly remember because I don't have the pattern. But there was something that I was planning to adjust. Because she's so much older now and is very tall for her age, I'm not sure that's going to be necessary anymore. And all of her length is in her torso. Her legs are average. Her torso is quite long. So I think I'll just do size 1 and I won't adjust it, and I'll see how that works. I think that's what I'm going to do, and just make it easier for myself all around. All right, I am off to start a new sweater, and I will check in throughout the day, and then I'll come back at the end and show you the progress that I've made for day 8 of the 12 cast-ons. See you soon. Hello, it is 10:22 p.m. and I'm here to show you the progress that I have made on my Into the Wild jumper today. Now, I didn't mention this before. I am wearing my Advent dress. This is a dress, doesn't have a pattern. I just designed it with a raglan yoke. I did do some increases around the waist. And I've just striped in Advent. I used the main skein for the top and I striped in the Advent down with an I-cord hem. I did do a different one for my daughter, and when I came downstairs in this one today, actually, she saw me and was like, oh, she ran upstairs and she found her one and she came down and put it on. And by matching, it's not the same colours, but it's the same style. It's one colour at the top, striped down the rest, and held double with mohair. So if you're interested in that, I will link it down below, which just has, I think, a few notes on it, but basically it's just stripes held with mohair. All right, what did I get done on the Into the Wild sweater? We've had a pretty relaxed day today. We did go for a walk today and got caught in a storm. It wasn't a long walk. We were just walking around the block, and I took video 1 minute apart. So I looked at one side and it was, overcast grey, snow was falling, and I turned around and there was beautiful blue sky with clouds, like bright white clouds. And then a minute later I took the same footage and it was just like grey with lots and lots of wind and snow. And it didn't quite get to whiteout situation, but it was very, very, very blustery, windy, snowy, blizzardy. So we turned around, we came home. It was very cold. We'd wrapped our faces up. By the time we got home, we were cold, but it had cleared up again. So go figure. It was just a very quick little thing. And then after that, we hung out at home, did some knitting, had dumplings for dinner, and then watched Star Trek, the newer movie with Chris Pine in it. So I did get quite a bit of knitting done. Now, yesterday I had to steal 4mm needles for another project. Today I did the collar, and I did the collar quite quickly actually. And so I was like, what do I do? Do I just cast on all 3 collars, or at least 2, and then see if I have enough colour yarn to do the third one? Or do I go and steal some 4mm needles? I stole some. I actually went to yesterday's project, put that onto hold, onto Barber's cord, and then took the needles from yesterday's to do what I've done today. I did look at buying more. I have not purchased more at the moment. All the shops, it is January 3rd, and all the shops are shut until the 5th anyway, so Monday. So I'll think about it over the weekend whether or not I do, maybe see what other projects I have. But the shop that I would normally buy them from doesn't have red lace in the size and the length cable that I want. So it means I'll have to look around a bit. And I just went, I'm not doing that right now. So I stole needles. I've done a fair bit. Are you ready to see? I almost have the fox done. I am, in fact, if I come around here, you're not going to see that any better. I've only done 4 stitches of the next round. But yes, I've almost done the fox. I've got 4 more rows of the fox until that's done. But in terms of the whole colour work chart, I'm 1 row past halfway. It's a 40 row chart and I've just finished row 21. So I'm very, very happy with that. Obviously, the second half is more knitting than the first half because there are increases throughout. I think I have 1 more row of increases before I get to what it should be at the end of the chart. What to say about it? I am loving it. I did choose the orange. I had a chat with my friend who's here visiting, who is also knitting. We knitted together. I knitted in person with someone. It was lovely. She's knitting a sock. It's her first ever sock, so I'm walking her through that. And so she's doing that while I was doing this. But I checked with her and she was like, I think definitely the orange. And I was like, yeah, and that way I can use the red for my husband's. And she's like, yeah, so you've just answered your own question. And I was like, yeah. So I went for orange. It does make it more of an autumnal sweater than a Christmas sweater, which originally I was thinking Christmas. But if I can get them all done by autumn, I'll wear it all through winter anyway. So that's fine. I was a little confused because I remember that there were short rows in the pattern, but they weren't in the collar. Looking at the pattern again, the short rows happen at the end of the colour work. So you don't end up having a longer collar on one side than the other side, but you still do end up with more fabric on the back than the front. So I thought that was interesting way to do it. And I've done it before on a different jumper, but generally I'm used to it being around the collar, not further down. So that's fine. Other than that, it's a pretty simple pattern to follow. It is obviously charted because it's colour work. And there are rows where you're doing 3 colours. So it's a little bit more fiddly. I don't mind it. I've probably complained about it tonight, but I don't mind doing 3 colour work. The thing that I find most annoying about 3 colour work is because sometimes you'll have 2 colours doing like 1 stitch or 3 stitch. So you've got to catch both colours somewhere else in that row. And so if you're doing 2 colour, you have to catch less often, is my theory. But I will show you the back. I mean, that's looking pretty good. I'm very, very happy with that. One thing that I'm finding amusing, or not amusing, I don't know about, something I'm finding interesting about today is I just loved it. I was thinking this morning, I think I mentioned that I hadn't done any socks and there were a few other things, colour play or something. But this morning when I was thinking about it and I'd forgotten about it, I was like, I kind of want to do colour work. I haven't done colour work. And I was like, no, wait, 2 days ago I did mittens and they were colour work. So I have done colour work, but this was just scratching the itch. I just wanted to do colour work, follow a chart, use multiple colours and knit. So this was delightful, and it wasn't hard. The first time I did this, I remember thinking, oh, what about my tension? What about this? What about that? It's 2 years later. I've done a lot more colour work since then. It just kind of worked. I'm figuring out my tension. All those things when I started doing colour work that I was really worried about, I don't worry about that anymore. I know how to catch my floats. I know how to catch my floats with the dominant or non-dominant. I'm not necessarily doing it the most effective way or efficient way, but it's definitely like it's being caught and it's being caught regularly, and like my fingers aren't going to get caught in that. Yeah, like it's easier. I've learned how to do this over the past few years. So that was really exciting. And like to do half a colour work chart in a day makes doing 3 of these jumpers in a year seem very, very plausible. So that, yeah, I'm really loving it, guys. I'm so happy to be doing colour work again. I guess we'll see what comes up for the next 4 days. But yeah, lace, colour work, it's delightful. So I don't know what else there is to say about this. I did add don't drop stitches. I did add my day 8 little gingerbread man here. I think I mentioned this on yesterday's one, but I will put the link to the 3D print file down below. So if you're wanting to make it yourself, you can go and check that out. If you have access to a printer or you know someone who does, you can go check that out. And I think I will. It's an 80 centimeter cord. I think I will go and get some stitch stoppers so that when I put it away, it doesn't fall off. The other thing that I'm thinking with this one, I don't know if that's going to work or not, but I'm like, I could just leave this downstairs because maybe tomorrow before everyone's up and I can come pick a new project, I could work on this one. But I think I won't do that right now. I am going to, oh, that's a good point. I am going to put or work on my Advent shawl, I think, in the morning. I'm on the 5th, the last colour, but I'm going to have to repeat a few colours before I get to the end. Anyway, so I think I'll work on that in the morning. But I don't know if I have any easy knitting that I can put in my bag and take with me because we're going out tomorrow. We've got church tomorrow. And so while I'm driving there and back, we may go out for lunch, and it would be nice to have some knitting with me if I do. So I'm going to have to stop and think about what I could possibly take with me because I finished my daughter's socks. I haven't started another pair of socks because I've been doing the 12 cast-ons. Am I going to do another cast-on again tomorrow? I did that last year. I started 13 projects in 13 days, but one of them didn't count as a cast-on. It was just something I needed to get done quickly. And I thought about doing it, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. But am I going to do that? I don't know. I'll have a look. Or I could take these needles and put them back on the shawl that I had yesterday, but I don't really want to do that. I want to keep this together because I'm going to want to come back and work on it. I will have a think. Anyway, that is my problem. That's not your problem. I am going to say goodbye now. As always, I'd love to hear what you've been working on or you've been hanging out with me today. Is it 12 cast-ons? Is it not? What pattern is it? I would love to look up and get some more inspiration. And I will also link below everyone that I know of who is doing 12 cast-ons. So if you're interested in following someone else's, you can go check those below. But one more little peek of those fox ears. Oh, I'm so excited, guys, to have this finally started, and I think it's going to be a good size. Oh, so happy. In fact, here you go. Here are the two of them side by side. So you can see it is a little bit darker, but other than that, it is the same colours for my son and for me. I did, because I bought these colours originally for me, when I ended up pivoting and making it for my son, I went back and bought more of the same colours because I really wanted a jumper in this green, this tweedy green. All right, I am going to say goodnight now. I'm going to go to bed, and I will see you tomorrow for some more cast-on fun. Have a great day, afternoon, night, wherever you are, and I will see you soon. Bye.